guys, Explode here, and well, it's been like a year. I'm finally doing another video. It is my 2017-18 Premier League predictions. So this is what I got. Well, on the left is what I predicted would happen last season. On the right is what actually happened. I did a lot better than the year before. Bournemouth doing much better than I expected. Middlesbrough doing a lot worse. United also doing a lot worse. Let's move on from that. So if you remember to last year, I set a goal of having an average difference of 2. And what did I get? Well, I got a 2.6. So it's not bad. If you also remember, last year I got an average score of 3.8, so it's definitely an improvement from that. So on to this year's predictions. Starting off, I think we'll have Brighton dead last. I mean, they just don't have a team to compete. They've got a good squad for the Championship, but they don't really have any Premier League level players. Next, I'm saying Swansea. They've lost some pretty key players, and I mean, just not looking good for them, really, is it? They fell quite far last season, and I think they'll fall quite far again into relegation. Next up, Huddersfield. I mean, they do have Moy, but he can't. You can't have a one-man team and expect to stay up. And obviously they got up through the playoffs, so it's not a good sign, even though they are doing well so far. Next, and I believe this team could very easily get relegated if one of those three actually do well, is Burnley. They've lost Keane, they've lost Gray. I mean, sure they got Wood, but they're not looking good. You probably don't want to make a transfer profit when you're struggling for relegation. So I'm pretty confident that it'll be 3 of those 4 teams to go down. Although, if 2 of them do try, there is a good chance that this team could go down. It is Watford. I've put them going up by 1, even though I don't think they've got they've made much improvements. It's just more Burnley and Swansea getting significantly worse. Besides that, not really much to say about them. 15th place, I'm going Newcastle. I think they'll have a solid return. They might even get a few places higher, but I'm saying 15th. I think they don't really have that strong of a team. They didn't really strengthen that much. 14th, I'm saying Stoke will drop 1. I mean, they lost Arnautovic to West Ham, so that's fairly major. He's, I think I'd say he is probably was their best player, so lost him now. 13th, I'm saying Crystal Palace will gain 1. Simply because they're more like keeping their team together, unlike the rest of these teams, which seem to be losing all their players. And they did strengthen a bit as well. 12th, I'm gonna say Leicester to remain, as I think they probably, there's a good chance that, like, Leicester is so hard to place. Ever since they won the league, no one knows where to put them. I think remaining in 12th is the most accurate. 11th, I'm going to say, is West Ham, also to remain. So simply like they're starting off struggling again. They don't seem they seem like they're never going to hit that form from like 2-3 years ago now. And they bought well. They got Hernandez in, and Joe Hart and Arnautovic. I think don't think they're missing anything by major. Yeah, they bought well, but they're still struggling in the league. As I mean, yeah, I think they will come back though. Maybe sack their manager. Who knows? 10th, I'm saying Southampton will drop by 2. They just like every year they sell everyone. They didn't really sell everyone this year, but they lack strikers. And quality up the front. They just can't really score enough goals, I think. And their defence is getting older, so yeah, I think they'll struggle a bit. 9th, I've got West Brom, more just capitalising on Southampton dropping than actually strengthening themselves. Although they did do a reasonable amount of strengthening, and they did quite well last year. 8th, I'm saying Bournemouth. They like they are really doing well strengthening. They've got Eddie Howe, who I'd say was one of the best managers in the Premier League, especially for teams outside of the top 6. So I think they'll have another solid season going into 8th, but cracking the top 7 is basically impossible, really. 7th is just Everton going to remain there. Like they've bought well, but losing Lukaku they're gonna struggle to replace him. They didn't really replace him at all. I mean, they got Rooney in, but yeah, he's Rooney. He's not the old Rooney. I mean, he can't score them 20 goals a season like Lukaku could. 6th, I'm saying Arsenal will drop down 1, and I mean like Sanchez wants to leave, Ozil wants to leave. They've lost like Oxlade-Chamberlain. They're just struggling. Like they've done badly so far, and I mean, obviously it'll pick up, but I can't see them getting top 4. I think Wenger has to go. 5th, I'm putting Spurs simply due to a lack of strengthening. So I mean, they've still got a good squad. They could maybe get higher, but the other 4 teams have actually done a reasonable amount of strengthening and stuff. So I just think they're going to come 5th. 4th, I think, will still be Liverpool. They have strengthened a bit, but compared to top 3, they're just not on the level. I think so I think they'll come solid 4th, which is, compared to a few years ago, they're coming like 6th, 7th. That's quite good for them, I think. 3rd, I've got Chelsea, mostly because they're now in the Champions League and they did sell like a couple of defenders without really replacing them. They got like a defender in. They've struggled to replace. They've still got Costa dragging on their wages, and I don't think he's actually going to play. So they lost Matic, not really replacing him. They got Bakayoko, but is he really as good as Matic? So I think they'll drop 2. They won't be able to continue what they did last season. Now, the top 2, both Manchester clubs, are still going, if you've been keeping track, which isn't that difficult to do. Which one will win? Before the season started, I thought it was probably going to be Man City, but they haven't. I mean, they've done all right, but looking at how well United have done, I mean, 4-0 wins, were just thrashing everyone. So, and you've got Mourinho, who always wins in his second season. It is tough, and I may be a bit biased, but I've gone for United in first. Quite a leap from 6th, but it is possible. Champions League is less of a drain than the Europa League. Hopefully we'll focus on the leagues a bit more than on the cups. I mean, I'd consider last season to be the second best out of all the teams. Like the only team season I'd trade it for was Chelsea's. So if we just focus on the league instead of cups, take that form, and I think we really could win. So I think goal again. This time is 2. And last 2 seasons have been almost impossible to predict. So hopefully I'll be able to do a lot better this time, because it's not seeming super unpredictable. And yeah, that'll about wrap this up, I think. So I hope you'd enjoy. See you next year, I guess.